Okay, now we'll start the practice session, today's practice session, which is the classification. So we are going to classify the data, given data set, okay, and we'll try to classify and predict the output of the new uh, samples which are given, okay. So for that, I hope everyone has downloaded the data set which is provided through mail, okay. So there were three data set. So those three data set was probably the one was a diabetic data set, that is uh, uh, PIMA India diabetic data set. Okay. The second one was uh, this IRIS data set. Okay. And the third one is advertising data set. So I hope everyone has these three data set with you and stored in a folder. Okay. So we will start the session with the same way, like going to the command prompt and then starting the Jupyter notes. Now remember that you need to start the Jupyter notes where your data set is present, the folder where the data set is present, or at least in the directory where the data set is present. Okay. So for my machine, the data set I have stored in a folder which is present in D directory. So I will go D. So I will go to D there first. Then you start the Jupyter notebook. If you don't do that, then you won't probably move towards the data set through Jupyter notebook. So go to the drive where the data set is stored, and then you can actually start the Jupyter notebook. Okay. So today we are going to use two data set, that is PIMA Indians diabetes data set and as well as IRIS data set. Okay. Once these two data are for classification, PIMA Indians diabetes is for binary classification. That means it has only two classes. That is whether the patient is diabetic or whether the patient is not diabetic. Okay. And whereas IRIS data has three classes. This iris data is based on iris iris flowers, three types of flowers. Okay, so it has three classes, so it becomes a problem of multi-class classification. So we will look into both binary classification as well as multi-class classification. Okay. So now you can see that your my DDev folders are listed here, and in which this is the folder in which data set is stored. So I will go into the directory, okay, and then I will start the program. Okay, so make sure that you go into the directory or the folder where the data set is stored, and then you start your notebook. Okay. Uh, then it becomes easy for importing the data and everything. There won't be any necessity of considering of path of the data set. Okay, so I will start the notebook. Okay, so this is our notebook. So first we will give it a title. So first we are going with a binary classification. Okay, so we'll start with renaming it as binary classification. Okay. Now, the first thing to do is of course import the libraries in Python. So we are going to import now today three libraries because we are going to use NumPy. Okay. Then we are also require pandas to handle the data. Okay. And as well as we require one more library today because we are actually going to implement machine learning algorithm. So we need to import scikit-learn library also. So scikit-learn library is imported as import. The name given is sklearn. So you can remember yesterday while installing scikit-learn, we have given the name as scikit-learn. But while importing, we cannot have scikit-learn. That is, this thing is completely wrong. It will show error. Okay. For importing, name is not given as scikit-learn, but it is given as sklearn. So remember, import the scikit-learn as import sklearn. Okay. Then by pressing Shift Enter, you can execute, or just by clicking on Run button, you can execute this particular cell. Okay. So once the library has imported, what next step is, you need to import the data set. Okay. And to import the data set, today we are going with we are going with binary classification to Bima India diabetes patient data set we are going to import. Okay. So here I'm going to give it a variable name as DF. You can give any other name also. I prefer to give it a smaller name because you are going to use it again and again. So giving a bigger name will make it a little bit difficult to use it again and again. Okay. So just a smaller name, 2-character name, that is DF, is sufficient for it. And then the pandas library helps us to import the data set. Okay. So here it is the function read CSV is the function, and then in single quote just mention the name of the data set, that is Pima Indian diabetes. And extension for this file is CSV, so .csv. Okay. Remember that if this Jupyter notebook is opened in your the folder where the database is stored, then only you can do this. Otherwise, you have to mention complete path. Complete path also can be mentioned this way. Just copy the path of that particular folder. Okay. Copy the part of that particular folder and just in single quotation paste it. Remember, in Windows it won't accept this black shell. You have to use this forward. Okay. So make sure you change that. Otherwise, it will show error. Once the database is reported, what you want is to know what are things in this database. Means you need to understand what are different things in this database. So describe is the best thing by which we can understand what database is all about. Okay. So we will going to use include all also so that we can get everything. Okay. So execute this cell. So you can see here everything is given here. So now there in this data set, the first thing is count. Count is 768 for all the columns. Okay. That means there are 768 rows, and this 768 rows for all the columns, the count is mentioned as 768. So it also means that there is no missing value, and count is very much important for that purpose, that you understand that by count you can see whether there are any missing values or not. If there are any missing values in the data set, then you need to go ahead and you need to make the correction either by deleting the rows which has missing value or assuming a new value to that missing value. Okay. So both ways can be done. So manually you cannot go through each and every row of the data set and check whether there is missing values or not. It is just 768. Sometimes the data set might consist of 10,000 rows. So at that time it is impossible to check whether there is missing values or not. Apart from that, because in this data set all the columns are numerical columns, so we get only numerical statistical information here. There is no categorical statistical information or non-numerical statistical information associated with this. Okay. So once we get the data set, so in data set the columns are, the first one is pregnancy, glucose, blood pressure, skin thickness, insulin, BMI, diabetes pedigree, extra, and the last one is result. We are interested in result, that is this result is label or the target for our machine learning algorithm, and all other columns will be the features for the machine learning algorithm. So from these features or from these independent variables from pregnancy to extra, we are going to actually predict what will be the result. Okay, that is all machine learning is all about. So you can see here in result there is the uh, minimum value 0 and maximum value 1. That means it is just having two values, 0 and 1. So it is binary class, just 0 and 1. So we are going to implement binary classification for this purpose. Now how to implement that? So first thing to do that is to separate out the features or independent variable with the dependent variable or target label. So for example, you want to store uh, features in, let's say, variable x. So it becomes x equal to our the data set which is stored in variable df. Okay, df dot drop. That means from df we are going to drop a column that is result, and because it is a column, so you have to mention axis as equal to 1. So this tells that except result, all other columns will be stored in X. And then we will have a variable Y as a target variable in which we are going to have only result. Okay. So we have defined one variable for features and another variable for our target variable. So we are what we are trying to do in this cell is we are actually separating out features from target variable. So now if you print X, you can see that it has all the variables which are present in the data set and except result. The column result is missing, whereas Y will have only result here and everything else will be missing. So we have separated out our feature. Result column will be missing and all other columns will be stored in X. Same way, why we require it for just a target label. So we are just going to take the target label and store it in Y. So you can see here, if I print X, then you can see that except result, all other are printed, all other are stored in X, whereas Y has only result. So we have separated features from the label. Next step is to split the data set into two parts. One part is called as training and another one is test. For training part will be used to train the model and testing part will be used to test the model. So to do that, we have to use scikit-learn library. In scikit-learn library, model selection. In model selection, you have train underscore test underscore split function. So that we need to use. So from scikit-learn, we are going to import the train test split. Then we are going to use the train test split to split our data set. So when we split the data set, it will be splitted into 4 parts. That is features for training, features for testing, label for training, and label for testing. So we need to give 4 variable name here, and it is in this manner. First it will have the features divided into 2 parts, that is train and test. So these are features, so X train and X test, and then a label will be divided into 2 parts, that is train and test. So Y for label train and Y for label test. Okay. Then into train test split function, you need to mention which variable has the feature. That is X variable, we have all the features. Y variable, we have all the labels. Then the size of the split. So when I specify 0.3, it means that 30% of the data set will be used for testing purpose and 70% will be used for training purpose. Then there is another, you can use this, that is random underscore state. Now this random underscore state tells whether to split the data set randomly or whether you don't want it randomly but sequentially. So if you split it in randomly, then your model will be more accurate. Okay. So we are going to give random state as 50. You can use any other number. This number tells that you are randomly selecting the splitting the data set. So then I am going to only print X train here. So now I am going to execute this particular cell. So when I execute, you can see here that row index are different. Because we have given random state as 50, it has selected random rows for training purpose. That's why these row numbers are different. Okay, and they are arranged randomly. That is important. You are making your data set random. That is very much important for the model. Next, you can see out of total 768 rows in our data set, only 537 rows are selected for training and remaining rows are selected for testing purpose. So this way we can split the data set into training and testing purpose. The second thing, the next thing to do is, now you can see in this data set that the maximum value in pregnancy is different. In glucose, the range of the values is different, 124, 188 and so on, whereas blood pressure values is different. So all these values are different, whereas diabetes predicate has values in decimals. So what we need to do is, you need to scale this so that all the values comes into one particular scale. So to do that, again we are going to use scikit-learn library. So from scikit-learn, you need to pre-processing, because now we are doing is pre-processing the data set. So from scikit-learn dot pre-processing, you need to import scalar. So here, let's say we are going to use standard scalar. So standard and scalar. Then you have to modify your data set into standard scalar. So I'm going to declare one variable which is scalar and then initiate standard scalar. Remember, both S are capital in standard scalar. Initiate it, then fit it. Now here you need to specify to which you are going to split. So we are going to fit it using just xtrain. Okay. This is the feature of training dataset. Then modify xtrain to this new scalar. So you need not need to define the scalar. The standard scalar will define the scaling from our xtrain features of training dataset automatically. Then we can use that scalar to transform our dataset. So first transform our X feature dataset and then transform test dataset. Remember that for both test and train, you need to use same scalar. Do not use different scalar, use the same scalar, and now we will check what happened to xtrain. So when you execute, you can see that now instead of having all these different scale numbers, they all have given into one particular scale numbers. Okay, so that what standard scalar will do. So you need to just use this standard scalar to actually scale the feature values into one particular scale. Now you are ready to implement machine learning algorithm. So this part, until this part, it is just to import the data set and prepare your data set for machine learning algorithm. Now we can use machine learning algorithm. So first, let's say we will implement our SVM machine. So from sklearn, this all machine learning algorithms are present. Our algorithm are present in scikit-learn library. You just need to import them. So from sklearn and SVM, we are going to import SV classifier, that is support vector classifier SVC, capital SVC. Then we are going to create a model, that is SVC underscore model, the name or the name given to the model by initiating SVC double bracket, and I'm going to just print this model and execute it. So you can see that one model, SVC model, is been created here. Now what you need to do is we need to actually train this model. So from train data set, we need to train it. To train the model, just specify the variable name where the model is stored. So here SVC underscore model is the variable name, dot fit. Fit will train the model and then give the train data set variables. So we have xtrain underscore x underscore train and y underscore train, two variables, and then execute this cell. So here SVC model got trained. So once SVC model got trained, you can go ahead and predict the result on test data set. So we will give a variable name which is ypred to store our prediction, and to do the prediction, you take up the model, that is our SVC model. Now use predict dot predict for predicting purpose, and then x underscore test. So this will actually predict the output for our test data set. So I'm going to just print out the result. So it has predicted zeros and one, that is whether the diabetes is present, whether for that particular row diabetes is there, or whether that patient doesn't have diabetes. Now if you look into this output, predicted output, naturally you cannot understand whether your machine learning algorithm, that is SVC model, has performed well or not. So for that purpose, what you need is the metrics, the calculation that your model is actually performing well. So the metrics here in classification are used is confusion matrix and recall, precision, and all those things. Okay, so we will now calculate the matrices which are required for telling that our model is performing well or not. So again, we are going to use same sklearn library. Sklearn library is very important. So from sklearn metrics, we are going to import classification report first, so that we can get report, that is different metrics for classification, and then we are also going to import confusion matrix. So these two things we are going to import. Now we are going to get the confusion matrix first. So for that you need a variable, let's say CM, confusion matrix variable you have defined. Then what you need to do is, here NumPy you have to convert it into array, your prediction and everything. So this you convert it into NumPy array, use confusion matrix to calculate the confusion matrix for the model. To this you provide original test labels with the predicted test labels. So predicted was pred, y underscore pred, and this original was y underscore test. Then you also mention what are different labels. So we have two labels which were just 0 and 1. Then of course we need to print this in a readable manner. So we are going to convert it into data frame. This confusion matrix we are going to convert it into data frame. So I am giving that same variable CM here, so that CM converts into data frame. So when you convert a particular table into data frame, you need to give is rows values and column values. So index here I can say it that whether a patient is diabetic or whether it is non-diabetic. Okay, only there are two different categories here. Then also you need to mention is column names. So mention columns. So here in column we are going to display our predicted values. So I am going to give it as predict diabetes, and then predicted as non-diabetic. And I am going to display this confusion data frame. So when you display this confusion data frame, now you can see that originally in test data set there were 129 plus 19 diabetic patient. In the 129 plus 19 non-diabetic patient, predicted was only 129 and 19 were predicted as non-diabetic. Okay, whereas in non-predicted they were total 44 plus 39. Out of that 44 were predicted as diabetic and 39 are correctly predicted or as non-diabetic. So this column, this 129 and 39 is important because this column tells us this particular diagonal tells us correct prediction, whereas this diagonal tells us wrong prediction. Okay, so these are nothing but true positive and false negative. These two true positive and false negative are correct prediction, whereas true negative and false positive are wrong predicted. Okay, and you can also calculate the confusion classification report and print it. So print classification report. To this also you need to supply original labels to the predicted label and execute it. You can see here that precision is 75% for diabetic and 0.67% for non-diabetic, whereas recall is in the similar manner 0.87% for this diabetic and 0.47% for non-diabetic and so on. Okay, and accuracy, overall accuracy you get is 0.73%, means 73% accuracy you have achieved by implementing SVC algorithm, that is support vector machine algorithm. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to implement other two algorithms, which is our k-near neighbor, and then we will go to our naive Bayes algorithm. So let's say first we'll go with k-near neighbor. So same way we have to do. So just remember the remember the step that you need to import the model, you need to train the model, and then you need to predict the output from that trained model. Then you need to have this classification report and confusion matrix to show how best your model is working. The same way, now we are going to import our k-near neighbor, KNN, from scikit-learn. So it is K and N capital, k-near neighbor, and we are using this for classification purpose. So it is k-neighbor classifier. So it is k-neighbor classifier. So once you import that, you need to initiate that particular model. So I'm just going to copy paste that name. It's a big name, so just we can just copy paste it. Then for k-near neighbor, you need to specify how many, what should be the k value. So here we are going to use k values as 2. Okay. So this initiate the model. Next is to train the model just by using fit, function fit. You need to train the model. So x underscore train and y underscore train. Press shift enter to execute the cell. Now this k-near neighbor classifier is ready. Again, the same way we need to predict. Again, I am using the same variable y underscore predict so that we can copy and paste above cell. So y predict here, now we are going to use this k-near neighbor, okay, and predict our output by supplying just test features. So again here it gives some output. Now again I'm just going to copy paste this classification report and confusion matrix, because we have given y underscore pred and original y underscore test is our original, same name has been given, so we can use same code again and execute it. So here you can see that this particular is good at predicting the diabetic, but it became worse for predicting non-diabetic. So previously using SVC, the prediction was 129 for correct prediction for diabetic was 129, but it became it was improved to 134 here by using k-near neighbor. But in case of non-diabetic, you can see that the wrongly predicted here was 44, whereas wrongly predicted as diabetic here became 61. So this naturally shows that it is much more becoming worse for this non-diabetic, but it is working good for diabetic. Now let's print the classification report. Just going to copy this cell, paste it and execute it. So here you can see that of course recall increased. You can see recall increased 0.87 from 0.87 to 0.19, but whereas for non-diabetic it decreased. So that is the problem, and overall accuracy also got decreased. So from 0.73 here in SVM classifier to 0.68 here in K near neighbor. So overall accuracy of the model has been decreased. Now let's implement the last one, which is our naive Bayes classifier. So to implement, again import that particular here, import naive Bayes from, so there are many different methods in naive Bayes. So from that we are going to import Gaussian, okay, Gaussian naive Bayes method. Then we are going to initiate the model, and then train by using fit function. Similarly, xtrain and ytrain. So this is trained. Now we are going to get our predicted. So our model dot predict will predict the output from ytrain only, sorry, X test only the features of test data set. And you can see the output here. Now again we are going to same copy paste the confusion matrix to display the confusion matrix here. So here you can see the result of the Gaussian naive Bayes method, and same way we are going to display our classification model and check, we will check whether the accuracy has been improved or not. So here again we got accuracy of 0.73, that is 73% only, same as our support vector machine classifier. So this is about binary classification of our data set. Now we will move on to the multi-class classification. So for multi-class classification we have to take another data set, which is our IRIS data set. So first we are going to import the IRIS data set. So now you know the data set, how to import the data set. So I am going to give that IRIS data set as variable name as IRIS pd dot read CSV, and in bracket mention that dataset dot CS, and we are going to see what all present in this IRIS dataset. So we are going to use describe with include all, so that we get all statistical information of all the columns. And when we run it, so it's iris underscore data dot CSV, just typo error, iris underscore data. So you can see here, so we have 5 columns: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and the class. So this is the data set of flowers. So remember, it is the flower. The last one, class, is having a non-numerical values. So for the class, we have non-numerical feature, non-numerical statistical information, whereas sepal length, sepal width, sepal petal length and petal width has numerical statistical information. And another thing you have to see is the count. So all has 150. So there is no missing values in this. So we can go ahead. First we need to check what are different classes. It is non-numerical. So let's say how many different are there. So iris going to print only class. Now we need only unique value. So you can go ahead and just type unique function with it. So it only prints unique value. Okay. And C capital. Okay. C is capital, it's a typo mistake. Yes. So you can see there are 3 unique values, that is iris setosa, iris varicolor, and iris virginica. So 3 different flowers classification data is present in this data set. So we are going to do is multi-class classification. Now all the steps are same. First you need to get the feature value. So iris drop, we need to drop class here with axis equal to 1, and for y you need to get only class. Then you need to split them. So xtrain, xtest, ytrain, ytest equals train. Now no need to import, we have imported it already, so there is no need to import now. So train test split x, y, then our test size, let's say 0.3 again, and random state. So any state you can mention, just randomly selects different, and I'm going to just print xtrain. So you can see randomly selected, only out of 150, 105 rows were selected. So again we have used same test train split here. Next, again we need to do same scalar again here, because the range are different for different things. So we can just go ahead, copy from above, and instead of typing it again, I'm just going to copy it. Copy this scalar one and just paste it there and execute it. So you can see all are been arranged into one particular scale. So once everything is arranged in scale, that is pre-processing of data set has been done. Now you can implement the classifier. So again, if you want to directly go again, there is no need to actually import them. What we can do, already SVC is already imported, and we know SVC underscore model is the name given here. So we are going to just use that same thing, and we are just going to train with our new data set. There is no need to again initiate it, just you need to just train it. There is one doubt by a participant that why we require random state. Why we require random state here. So random state mentions different number will divide the test into different. For example, if I take random state as 1, then you can say that the randomly selected samples is different here. Okay, and if you take it as 0, and again different. So you can take different values to get different samples from the our original data set. It is because you need to shuffle the data set. You don't want to keep the data set, because if I directly print the data set, let's do that. If I directly print the data set here, that is iris, most probably the data set has particular this range. That is, the first rows are with iris setosa, then in middle there will be some iris varicolor, and the last are iris virginica. So if you just split this way, that above 105 rows for train and below rows for training, then most probably training data set will have only virginica rows and no setosa and varicolor rows. So actually, to shuffle the data set, and so that the random so that the train data set has all the classes as well as test data set has all the classes, we use random state so that it gets shuffled. That is only the reason why we are using random state, and that is the reason. Okay, so we have already SVC model. Just what you need to do is just fit it with our new data set, and that is done. Now you can use this for predicting for our new data set. So y_red is the variable name. I will give it for prediction. The SVC model, same way, predict. You need to supply just test features. So X test. Then let's go ahead and print this output. So here you can see, instead previously it was printed as 01 because the result was given in 01. Here you can see it has been predicted as setosa or versicolor or virginica flower. Okay. Now again I am going to just copy paste this thing, confusion matrix and classification report, to check the confusion matrix and classification report. Okay, here we need to change this because now there are 3 different classes. So I am just going to copy from here because we have printed it here, 3 different classes. So those 3 here, and same way columns also, but remember columns are predicted, so I will include pred in as a prefix to this. It's just a small typo mistake, I think, while splitting y test, y2, x test, x2. Y test, y pred. Okay, here there are 3 different classes. You need to mention here also 3 different classes. So you can see here our classification confusion matrix. So setosa is been predicted, setosa 100% with 100% accuracy. Same way virginica is also predicted as virginica with 100% accuracy. whereas versicolor is predicted only 15 out of 19 are predicted as versicolor, whereas 4 are predicted as virginica. Okay. Same way we are going to confusion our classification, print our classification report. So you can see for Setosa, precision and recall is 100%, F1 score is also 100%, but whereas versicolor it is 100%, but recall is because 4 have been predicted wrongly, so it is just 79%, whereas virginica again recall is 100%, but precision because 4 are predicted this virginica which are not virginica, our this precision is less 0.64, and you can see overall accuracy is 0.91%. The same way you can implement k nearest neighbor as well as this our naive Bayes with this also. It's similar manner. So I will leave it up to you to implement them. It is implemented in similar manner. Now you know what are the variables you have to give for this. Okay. And this is just for the classification purpose. So for multi-class classification, you get multi-class this confusion matrix, whereas for binary classification, you get binary confusion matrix. So if the classes increases, this number of rows and number of columns will increase. So remember that. This is all for today. If you have